Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. I thought that I would do things a little bit different and shake up the way I've been doing the evolution reports up until this point. So I want to begin to give you a little bit of a more connected, inspired way to use the evolution report as a conscious tool for your own personal growth and expansion. When you understand your energy, and most importantly, when you understand how your energy gets impacted by the transits, the movement of the planets, and the energy themes that the planets bring you, it gives you a way of consciously working with the energies to not only leverage yourself and create what you want in your life on a daily basis, it's also a really powerful tool for your personal growth and expansion. I call the evolution reports because the movement of the planets, particularly when we look at the movement of the sun and the earth, it actually gives us a very specific and deliberate way for us to, with great awareness, bring out the highest elements of the human experience and qualities in being human. So I thought as I begin to do this in a new way that I'd start today by showing you a little bit about how the transits actually impact your personal chart and how you can use these transit reports, these evolution reports, to really deliberately bring out the best of who you are, to help you really manifest your full potential, get yourself out of places and old stories that perhaps are keeping you stuck and trapped, and really break through definitions and understandings of yourself so that you can create something really worthy of your magnificence in your life. So let's start first by looking at these slides, because I want to be able to, the cool part about being able to use this format that I'm going to be using is that I can actually visually bring you information so you can see, not just hear me talking, you can actually see in the context of your chart how the energy is going to be impacting your chart, where to see the markers of the celestial movement so you can get your chart out and look at how's this going to affect my chart this week. So if you don't already have your chart out, get your human design chart out. And if you don't have a human design chart, you can get a free chart with a free report at understandinghumandesign.com. All right, so we are looking at the celestial weather for March 14, 2017. That's actually yesterday, but it's taken me a while to get this recorded. We are going to be looking at the planetary weather from now until Sunday. On Sunday, we see a shift in the solar gates, and my intention is to bring you a new report every time we have a shift in the solar gate so that you can start looking at how is your chart being affected and impacted in real time. But before we look at what's up for the transits this week, let's do a little bit of a study on how the transits actually impact your chart. And to do that, we've got to look at some really basic understandings from human design. In human design, when you see your chart, you'll see your chart's got all kinds of stuff colored in and all kinds of stuff that's white. Anything in your chart that's colored in, we call it defined. That's your definition. Your definition is energy that you have consistent access to all the time. It's the truth of who you are. It's energy that you have. It's available to you. It's sustainable to you. That's you. That's the real you. You also will have white parts on your chart. Anything that's white in the chart is where you take energy in from the world around you. And you can take that energy in from other people, and you can take that energy in actually from the celestial transit. So as the planets move, they move through specific energies in the human design chart. When those planets move, they will bring that energy to you in your personal experience. And if they're bringing you an energy that you have white on your chart or open on your chart, you are going to experience that theme, the flavor of that theme in your life while that energy is transiting. Here's how this impacts your chart. I'm going to only talk about this in the context of electromagnetics. We're going to keep it simple for all intents and purposes in this particular lesson this week. If you have what we call a hanging gate, so if you have a gate, if you look at the left side of this image, you'll see there's the gate 59 hanging here. It's half a channel. In human design, half a channel will not define the centers on either end. So if you have half a channel, and it's connected to a center, and that center has no gates, meaning the entire line connecting two centers is not colored in. The center stays open. It takes two channels coming together. You'll see in this particular diagram the 59, and over on the right hand side you'll see the 6. When the 59 and the 6 come together, either through relationships, meaning if you have the 59, you meet somebody with the 6, that energy comes together like a puzzle piece. Or if the planets bring it to you, as they are bringing it to you right now, the 6 is actually, the Earth is actually transiting in the energy of the 6 right now. When you have the 59 and the planets bring you the 6, it gives you the flavor of definition in this channel. That doesn't mean that you become this, it means you experience this, and that's important to understand. It doesn't change your chart, but it changes your experience of your energy. In this particular case, if you have the 59 and the 6 is transiting and it brings you this entire flavor of this channel, it'll also bring you the flavor of the sacral center, the center that's on one end of the channel, and the center that's on the other end of the channel. A defined channel, anytime in your chart, then you can look at your natal chart and look at this right now. Anytime you have a center colored in on your chart, it's colored in because there is a channel, a defined channel or a colored in channel connecting two centers together. That channel, by the way, can either be black, red, or red and black. It doesn't matter what color it is in terms of definition. If it's black, red, or red and black, or all red, it can be that too. It's going to make definition on either ends of the channel. When a transit brings you this energy, it not only brings you the theme of the gate, but it'll also bring you the theme of the definition that you might gain from the movement of the planets. We are always in a relationship with the planets. We're always dancing with the energies that the planets bring. The transits bring us energy that changes the nature of how we experience ourselves and each other, and ultimately it teaches us. It's really pretty powerful. We have 64 gates in the human design system. The sun moves through those 64 gates, as well as the earth, the sun and the earth move through all 64 of those gates over the course of a year. A year is defined by the entire movement of the sun and the earth through all of those 64 gates. It shifts the gates, the sun and the earth move about every 6 days in the human design system. So every 6 days, we are brought from the planets the energy of an archetype. And it's an energy of an archetype that we get the opportunity to consciously explore and to dive into deeply so that we can bring out the highest expression of that archetype in our own personal lives. If you already have a gate colored in and the transit brings it in, it's not going to affect you that much because you already kind of have that puzzle piece in your chart filled in, but you'll notice it more in other people. If you have an energy open and the transits bring you that energy, it's an opportunity then for you to explore that archetype more deeply and for you to really go on an inner query and even a relationship query, because it's going to come up in every area of your life, in your relationships, in the news, in your own personal chart, in your own personal awareness. That theme gets played out while that energy is transiting. So it's a really great tool to follow the earth and the sun over the course of the year and to use those transits as a way of consciously and deliberately going through these powerful archetypes about the human experience and really engaging in an inner dialogue about how do I bring out the highest expression of this energy in my life? Is it holding me back? Is it helping me? Do I need to leverage this differently? Do I need to play with this energy in a more enlightened, evolved way? So let's look at what that might look like. Here's an example of a natal chart. I want you to pay attention to the gate 32, which is in the bottom left of the brown triangle on the left, the spleen center. So you see there's a brown triangle in this chart. On the bottom left here is the gate 32. If we looked at the transits, now this is not this week's transits, this is just an example. But if we look at this and let's say this is the transits, the planets that we're currently transiting at the moment. As I said, this is just an example. In this example, the 54 is transiting. All right, so we have what's called an electromagnetic connection. Again, remember, here you have the 32. That's the natal chart. In the transit, we have the 54. When these two energies are experienced together, you'll see here, if you can look at this more closely, let's see if I can make this bigger. You'll see here, oops, don't do that, Karen. That in this particular image, the energy of the transit, the 54, meets up with the 32. It defines this whole channel. And what it also does is it actually brings definition to the root center. So we're not going to do this exactly. I'm jerry-rigging this as we speak. So bear with me here. What it also does is it temporarily, due to the transit, will create definition in the root center. So this person doesn't normally have a root center defined. They normally have a root center open. But when this transit is happening, it will also give them the flavor of dealing with the root center. So this person normally has a lot of pressure and adrenaline pressure in their chart. It probably gives them a lot of extra oomph to do things. This is a manifesting generator. This is somebody who has a lot of energy to do things. The open root center gives them pressure, and sometimes that pressure might inspire them to leap into action. When the transit comes through and gives them the flavor of definition in the root, through the 5432, not only does it activate the theme in this channel, which is a theme of ambition, it's a business theme, it's a theme of initiating action towards creating a vision or a dream and helping a dream come true. It also gives this person the flavor of the root center, which means they might not have the same degree of pressure. They actually might feel more relaxed around starting things, more in tune with a different kind of a drive. It might not feel, sometimes when you get definition where you have openness, particularly in the center, it doesn't always feel so great. Sometimes it can actually feel exhausting, because wherever we have openness in the chart, we have, of course, potential for huge wisdom, because we can experience things in variable ways here, but it also kind of jams up the energy, so to speak, and you have to hold on to it. When you have openness, you're not designed to sustain the energy. You're designed to experience, let it flow through you, and be done with it. When the transits, or if you're in a relationship, this works too. If you have a transit energy or a relationship energy, and it brings this definition flavor, and you don't become defined, but it brings the flavor of being defined, then you might feel like, oh, this is exhausting. I don't have my same fluidness. I don't have my same flow here. I've got this energy that feels kind of stuck and gummed up. So sometimes if you feel like, where'd my mojo go? Sometimes it's the transits that's changing the nature of how your chart operates while that energy is at play. Whenever you have a transit, you want to ask, where are there electromagnetics? How's that impacting my chart? What theme is the gate? Let's not put plant here. Let's write this word gate in here. I'm actively creating the slideshow as we go, right? What theme does the gate bring to my life? In the past, when I've talked about the transit reports or the evolution report, I'm always talking about what themes do the planets and what themes are the gates bringing you. So you really want to look at not only how does this potentially create the flavor of definition in your chart, you also want to look at what theme does this bring. If you're not familiar with human design and the gates and what the gates mean, I'm kind of partial to this book. This book has all the gates in it, along with the gates, because I really believe that human design is a conscious evolution tool. All of the gates in this book, in my book, have affirmations and writing assignments with them. So if you want to figure out, okay, what's going on with this gate? It's transiting. What does it mean to me? You can go to my book and pull out a writing assignment and an affirmation that'll give you a deeper insight into what does that gate mean thematically in terms of your own personal growth and evolution. Of course, I am also would be rude to not also include some of the other really great human design books that are out there. Chetan has a great book. Linda Binnell and Jovian Archive have a great book on Amazon. There are other really powerful, really wonderful human design teachers. Go to Amazon and look up their books. And you know, I'm not married to you finding my book. If you feel aligned to my book, great. If not, please find one that really speaks to you and speaks to your heart, because that'll really help you understand the theme of the evolution report and the transits and the movement of the transits, so that you can really see, what do I need to do for yourself? What do I need to do to bring out the fullest expression of who I am and maximize my potential? And not just your potential, but the joy and expansion that's possible for you in your life, rather than restriction, resistance, and even suffering. So that brings us to this week. This week until Sunday, we have the gate 36 transiting in the sun. The gate 36 is the gate of adventure. It is an emotional energy, and actually both of these energies, the gate 6 is in the earth, the gate 36 is in the sun. These are both emotional energies, meaning these are both energies that are connected to the emotional solar plexus. So some of you may be picking up extra emotional energy this week while this energy is at play. Emotional energy is always energy that is engaged, is designed to be engaged with deliberation. When we are emotional and we're making emotional decisions, sometimes we jump into the fire before we really feel our way into it. The gate 36 can be sometimes the gate of boredom. Sometimes when we're bored, we jump into things. It's also the gate of stretching the limits and the boundaries and the envelope of the human experience. That's all great and wonderful, provided you've thought about it ahead of time. You don't want to spontaneously jump out of an airplane or spontaneously jump into something that's going to stretch your experience on the human plane, and then in the middle of the experience go, wait a minute, what was I thinking? Okay. This is an energy that encourages us to stretch beyond our normal experience, our daily experience. It's an energy that oftentimes encourages us to explore new options, new opportunities, to go on an adventure. When this energy is at play, sometimes we're invited to investigate, are there places where we're holding ourselves back from adventure, where we have collapsed our inquisitive explorer nature and we are resistant or frightened or afraid to try something new. This is a time to really think about how can you create something new in your reality, but be mindful of going into that newness with time and deliberation. This can be a very creative energy, a very beautiful, exciting, adventurous energy, but you got to make sure that you're engaging with this energy correctly. You don't want to be reactive, you want to be deliberate. The energy in the earth, the gate 6, this is the energy coming down here that I showed you earlier, is the energy of emotional balance. It's also a place where we can have deep impact. This is a really important energy to pay attention to. This is half of the channel of reproduction and mating. So it can be a very sexual energy, and certainly in terms of relationship energy, this can be very juicy. This can be an energy that brings us a lot of fertility. So a time when we oftentimes will engage in activities related to fertility. But it's also the energy not only of reproduction and being able to provide resources for your family, which can also be a theme that's at play this week. It's also the energy for war. It's part of the defense circuit in the chart. So when this energy is at play, we are sometimes fighting and feeling like we have to defend ourselves. Sometimes we feel like there's not enough and we have to grab what we can for our own and really take care of our own people first, sometimes at cost to others. So it can be the energy for war as well as for love and reproduction. So really, really important energy. Again, emotional energy, really important that before we engage in any kind of emotional interaction with other people, whether it's in defense or whether it's loving, that we are conscious and deliberate. Think about sex and think about war. Both have life and death consequences. So both of these energies, or both of these themes, are energies that you want to engage in deliberately. There's a potential here for peace. There's a potential here for birth and renewal, for diplomacy, for being tactful. Okay, so there's a really wonderful opportunity for us here to create sustainably and in a sustainable way. For us to make choices, new choices, adventurous choices that bring us closer together, that bind us and give us new agreements, new ways of creating together in a powerful way. So that's the highest expression of these themes. The other themes included in this week's transits or this week's evolutions is, of course, take your time and be deliberate, as we talked about. Another thing is in the relationship energy this week, there's a lot of potential for control. So really important this week that you, in your relationships especially, let go of your need to be in charge. The theme of responsibility is also playing out in our relationship energy. So the other thing I encourage you to do this week is don't be responsible for things you aren't responsible for. Only be responsible for what you're responsible for. Big question to ask yourself this week. Whose problem is it? And if it's not yours, leave it be. And don't let guilt force you to emotionally react and jump into things you don't want to do or commit to things you don't want to commit to. The outer planets, that's Neptune, Pluto, the slower moving planets bring us not only personal themes, but collective themes. The outer planets are teaching us to think big, dream big, trust ourselves. And then starting on Saturday, Jupiter moves to the gate 57, which is the most psychic or intuitive gate in the chart. Our intuition is waking up. We are learning to trust ourselves, to connect with our own intuition, and to activate our own place of inner truth. This is so crucial right now because Neptune is transiting in the 63 and will be transiting in the 63 until well into next year. The potential for us to get confused, self-doubtful, doubtful of others, or be suspicious of ourselves or suspicious of others is really, really high, and it's already activating all of this energy of othering and polarity in our consciousness. We have got to learn, if we're going to create in a sustainable way, we have got to learn to drop into our own selves and discover for ourselves what is truth for ourselves. And when we can drop into that creative space, that place of inner wisdom and that place of knowingness, and you all have it. Being intuitive is not a gift, it's a skill set, and it's something that we all have. We just activate it differently. You've got to be able to tap into your intuition and feel your way into or sense your way into what is truth for me, especially if you're getting overwhelmed or bombarded with a lot of information that's leaving you feeling confused or overwhelmed. Your intuition and your capacity to tap into your own truth will save you. The affirmation for this week is this: I embrace the new. I watch and wait. I trust my intuition and my strategy, knowing that I make clear and intentional choices. My actions are in alignment with my intentions and my desires. I am the eye of the storm. My head is clear, my heart is aligned, and I act only for my highest good. I am immune to the appearance of my outer reality, and I know that I'm on my way to creating what I intend. My beliefs are unwavering, and I am not swayed by outer circumstances. I trust in divine order. Things for you to contemplate this week. What is your strategy for coping with unexpected events, chaos, and tragedy? How strong is your connection to Source? And what perhaps do you need to do to strengthen it? If you want to learn more about how you can tune into your intuition, I have a brand new class coming up, Intuition by Design. This is a brand new program. So if you've taken Intuition by Design, I'm adding a whole bunch more new information. There's a lot of new things I want to share with you, new techniques, new understandings. The class starts on April the 4th. I'll post the link for you guys to register. There is an early bird tuition of $97. That is like the total cost of all the programs that you can get is over $600 worth of programs. So you're going to get it for $97. It's a perfect, important time for you to really know how to tap into your intuition. And I'm purposely teaching this class at this time because I know the transits are really speaking to the need for you guys to be able to tap into your own inner wisdom. I want to thank you all for joining me this week. I hope this new format is working for you. I will talk to you again on Sunday when the Earth and the Sun shift into the cross of the vessel of love with the gate 25, the love of spirit in the Sun. We're moving into a really exciting and yummy energy next week, a time for us to recalibrate back with Source and to take our direction from Spirit as Source. Have a wonderful week. Stay inspired and fundamentally creative. I will talk to you on Sunday.